All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Trading Bitcoin with your host, Vays. We're going straight to the charts. Hope everyone had a super awesome weekend. And here we go. All right, let me get your live chat. Good morning from Bulgaria. Nice. Thanks for joining. Okay, so here's a monthly chart. June is almost over. Time absolutely flies. And it would be nice if we're able to hold off this moving average, though in reality, it really doesn't matter all that much. Whether we close a little bit below, a little bit above. The bigger the shadow at the bottom of this candle, the more bullish we will be going into the following month. This red arrow ended up working out absolutely perfectly, but certainly didn't feel comfortable as we crashed from the $40,000 area all the way to below the $20,000 area. In my experience right now, way too many people are bearish. Everyone is waiting for 11,000, 14,000. Everyone is 99.99% certain that we are going lower, which is why I am not certain that we are going lower. Back in this area, everyone was absolutely certain we were going higher, which is why I generally stay on the opposite side of the masses. It usually works out super well. The majority is almost always wrong, but occasionally the majority does turn out to be right. This was helped by a massive Ponzi scheme called Token Plus Token, one of those two, Plus Token. And we did fall all the way down as I stayed cautious for almost an entire year, but was a bull right after this crash happened. Right now, I remain bullish. This is our weekly chart. I don't like the fact that we had an entire candle below the 200-week moving average. This moving average has never turned down. Hopefully, it won't this time either. We did have our extension A. Extension A has historically reversed Bitcoin on a weekly chart. I do want to glance at the Heikin Ashi version. And the Heikin Ashi version, which has been excellent at identifying bottoms. You can see right here with an MRI buy and here with an MRI buy on the low. Do something real quick. We may still get an MRI buy on a Heikin Ashi, which means we have multiple more months to go of a little bit of downside. But at this point, as long as the next 3 months close below 40,000, we will get that MRI buy on Heikin Ashi, which would be good. Back to regular candles. On a weekly scale, I'll check it as well, just in case, to see what's going on. Oh, how about that? So on a weekly scale, we got the MRI buy on the intra-week low. Very interesting. We got the MRI buy a little bit early, earlier this year, and we also had another one way early. This is a tricky one because we broke the intermediate moving average there. But in this case, I generally pay more attention to the monthly version than the weekly version. Okay, this is our allocation. It was supposed to be a Consensio allocation, but that kind of deviated from its pattern. I'll try to get it back in line. At the moment, I'm happy with my bullish position, even though since I started this video, we dropped like $500 back to approximately my starting point. So that kind of sucks. What the hell happened? I guess the stock market. Well, we're going to keep an eye on that 10 a.m. reversal. I'm going to go to the stock market and we're going to look for that 10 a.m. reversal. Tone, what did the late Tyler call in as a low before we can go up? I don't really understand the question. Why is Bitcoin tanking? I don't know. It wasn't tanking like an hour or two ago, right? So when I looked at charts, so let's see. Well, we'll get to the lower level timeframes. I'm still okay with this position. I now have a very clean stop loss. If the price of Bitcoin goes below this candle's low, I am giving up on this trade completely. And this candle has 2 days to go. So if this candle can close, you know, above 21,000, I will raise that stop loss to the bottom of the bodies of these candles in the middle of June. So I would love to get this stop loss into break even, and hopefully we'll get there. But right now, the stop loss is below last candle's low, and I'll raise it in a couple of days. Before we go on to the daily charts, a reminder, the financial summit is only 1 month away. We have this entire castle rented in the Dominican Republic, and the majority of the people that come are traders and funds and money managers. Everyone is, of course, welcome. Unless you're like a really, really bad scammer, like I wouldn't let Richard Hart, for example, to come to this event. Unless he signs up under a fake name and tricks me, then it'll be hard to kick him out, but we will do our best. But everyone is pretty much welcome. We discuss all kinds of ideas in the conference room. And this event is not like available to others. We may or may not even record the sessions. We didn't record the last sessions. It's really a private event for those that show up. They get good exclusivity on our discussions. So don't expect any videos of how goes on in the conference room. We will announce another event coming up in November real soon, probably this week. You can follow us on Twitter. Thank you for getting us 1,000 followers. Also follow us on Instagram. Still have a little while to go to get to 1,000. And YouTube, would love to get to 1,000. Did we break 300? Not yet. We're almost at 300. Would love to get to 1,000 there as well. Still following the candidates chess tournament. It's not looking good for my good friend Rajabov. He had another draw with the young 17-year-old who was like third in the world. He is behind. He is tied with 2 other guys for last place, unfortunately. Great game yesterday. Nakamura does these awesome recaps on his YouTube channel. It's really good. So Nepo is the big leader right now. He's got over a full point lead on the rest. And more great matchups today. You can watch them live on chess.com and chess24. I usually flip between the two. There are your standings. Kron is still in second place with 5 points, and Nakamura is right behind them with 4.5. The leader's got 6 points. All right, let's go to the daily chart. I had high hopes that this MRI buy, and by the way, that was the perfect call on the MRI. This is why I was optimistic and I doubled down on my bullish position on a 4-day chart because I trusted the MRI reversal. Those that are interested in the MRI indicator, you have to go to tonevays.com. Products and services on-demand videos is my TA stuff. But the MRI indicator, will get you that one. And you can see how the daily candle marked the low on the swing and the close. That is very impressive. That is exactly what this indicator is designed to do. It's designed to identify exhaustion in buying or selling. When there are too many sellers in a row, they will eventually exhaust. There will be nobody left to sell. That is what this indicator called absolutely perfectly. I might have gone in with my first entry a little prematurely. I used the weekly MRI buy. The daily had its own direction. And then the daily with the weekly, the week earlier, was doing good. I'm not happy with this candle at all. When we get to the traditional markets, we will see. I don't really know what happened in the last hour. This is the hour of the stock market opening. I could only assume the stock market crashed at the open. And I am looking for a stock market reversal at 10 a.m. We're 3 minutes away. It might have already started. I'm going to quickly glance at oil. And I'll just tell you oil still pulling back. That's good. The government will get to save face on their inflation situation, but oil will eventually start to rise and inflation will go once again out of control. Let's look at the stock market on a 10-minute scale. So here's the opening candle. Here's our 9:30 candle at the open. And we tanked and tanked. And here's Bitcoin on a 10-minute scale. And obviously, Bitcoin is super correlated to the stock market. There goes Bitcoin. So the stock market tanked at the open, and so did Bitcoin. And here comes the 10 a.m. reversal. So I do like this 10 a.m. reversal. I'm going to wait till this candle ends in 2 minutes. I may even go to the 5-minute candles. Reversed a little bit early. I would stay patient right now. Wait another 2 minutes. Bitcoin is pretty correlated, but you can see how Bitcoin just made a new low, but the stock market made a low 10 minutes ago. I see a comment from my moderator, Stone. How can equities rally on zero volume last week? That's a good question. S&P on a 3 and a 6 month chart. Yeah, I might look at those. It couldn't have been zero volume. There had to be some volume. During the summer, especially this time of year, traders like to just, take the time off. So it doesn't really take much volume to move an asset. If there's nobody buying and there's 8 people selling, it's going to drop. If there's nobody selling and there's 12 people buying, it's going to rise a lot. The actual volume doesn't mean needs to go up. It just means if it's one-sided, it's the tug of war between buyers and sellers. The tug of war could be up here with high volume. It could be down here with low volume. As long as it's like this, it'll go up a lot. But if it's like this, it'll go up very little, right? There's overall large volume, but the number of buyers and sellers is about the same. So right now I would wait. I wouldn't rush in. This 10 a.m. reversal can still take place in about 5 minutes. Wow, that's a big swing. I'm bullish right now. We just broke the prior 2 candles highs. So at the moment I'm bullish, and I know I'm wrong if we drop below the swing low. Not the best trade, but I work with what I have here. Stop losses are usually in blue. Tone, Voyager defaulted on 3AC, so maybe we are capitulating today. I hope they both default. I hope both of them just go completely belly up. I mean, I don't want to sound insensitive, but any idiot that put any money into either of those companies deserves to lose every freaking dollar. every single dollar. If you are that much of an idiot to put your money into Voyager or 3AC, do you guys understand how dumb crypto funds are? These crypto funds that invest in DeFi and NFTs, they're basically children pretending to manage money. If you really want to know more, if you are really curious, what you need to do is you need to go to the Vays YouTube channel. You need to find a playlist. Where's that playlist? Crypto Scam Podcast. And you need to watch one of the best work I've ever done was Crypto Scam episode number 9, the Crypto Hedge Fund. The Crypto Hedge Fund. These are the people that are managing your money, this guy. So this guy, his name is Sean Ironstag. So Sean Ironstag started a crypto hedge fund that Forbes magazine and Laura Shin listed as the second best crypto hedge fund in the world, basically. The article was titled Top 15. Let me see. Where's the article? It's no video. There it is. There's the article. So it's the article, Crypto Boom, 15 new hedge funds with 84,000% return by Laura Shin. And hedge fund number 2 was managed by 2 people. It was managed by Sean Ironstag. Where is he? There he is. Yeah, that is Sean Ironstag. And this is Geostorm. So one year before I did this video, she was homeless and snuck into Burning Man, met Sean Ironstag, and they started a crypto hedge fund and got $12 million. That's her. Her boob actually popped out during the interview. So I had to like blur that out. But this was live streamed, by the way, as well. Anyone remembers Vortex? So we interviewed Geostorm and her amazing money management skills. So these 2 geniuses were running a crypto hedge fund that Forbes magazine listed as the number 2 to invest in. Or is it? So these are your crypto hedge funds. This is what you're investing in, basically. There he is. So I was just going through his public Instagram, basically. And yeah, I just pulled up his Instagram. I was doing live due diligence on air by Googling the social media of these hedge fund money managers. So this was Sean Ironstag's public Instagram. I didn't even have Instagram at the time that I did this. My Instagram is pretty new. So that's basically his Instagram. And these are the people that are managing your money. These were the crypto hedge funds of 2017. And I'm sure the ones right now aren't that different. All right, enough going down memory lane. This is probably one of the best episodes on my YouTube channel, like I've ever done. So you really want to check this out, the crypto hedge fund. How are they doing now? I have no idea. I'm sure way better. I'm sure because people gave them like idiots in crypto gave them $12 million in 2017. So I'm sure that would be 120 million today. I'm sure the way if they started another hedge fund, it would be 120 mil. I mean, how much did Voyager lose? Like 300 million or something? Come on. These guys can easily get 120 mil. Easy. Easy. Okay. Oh, I forgot about the reversal. There it is. Boom. Told you I was bullish right here. The question is, when do we set a break-even stop? Let me see how much we let me see how much it went up. Back in the day, I used to be happy with a 10-point move. 10-point move got me all giddy back in the day, but the volatility was lower. 10-point move would make me it would be $1,000 on a low volume day for me. So I would already be taking profit. I will be taking profit of a 10-point move because I'm up $1,000 for the day. And it usually used to only take me, 20 minutes. 20 minutes, make $1,000, and then you go to the gym. Done. Done for your trading day. That's what I used to do. I wasn't trying to be greedy. I was like, let me buy two futures contracts. Two futures contracts. Pops 10 points. I sell one. I put a break-even stop on the rest, or a trailing stop on the rest, and I'm done for the day. I don't like this move down. What do we got? These are also 5-minute candles, not 10-minute candles. I'm gonna stay patient. Back in the day when I would play this 10 a.m. reversal, I would already take profit. And that's if I only traded 2 contracts. Sometimes I trade 4 contracts. If I trade 4 contracts, this 11.5-point move to the upside, I would take profit at 10. So I easily would have been able to do that. I would take profit at 10 points right there. And I would take half the profit. So if I traded 4 contracts on this, I would take 1,000 off the table, put that back in my wallet, back in my account, set a break-even stop on the rest or a trailing stop on the rest, and off I go. And off I go, just watching in peace, not worried about losing anything. So what would happen now is if I would take half off the table, I would already be out the other half. So if this was only a 2 futures trade, I would sell one of the contracts here, and the other one would have sold somewhere along the way to the bottom. So I probably would have made about $600 or $700 on this trade, but it only would have taken 20 minutes. And now I have to decide: do I want to trade again, or do I just, or am I done for the day? Is Voyager Digital publicly traded? Does it have a stock? I didn't know that. I thought it was like some crypto shit fund. I got it confused with Voyager Capital. Voyager Digital is publicly traded? Oh, the SEC is going to have their ass. At least they should, but the SEC doesn't do anything. So, Russian ruble, new all-time high. Not all-time high, sorry. New 5-year high. Voyager Digital. Wow. Oh, it's in Toronto. Okay, so the SEC isn't really. Ha. Ha. Still overpriced. Oh, that's not good. Not good. Yeah, so I would be out of this trade. Otherwise, I'd be trying to salvage my position. If I was trying to salvage my position, I would put an exit right above my entry. And then I fucked up stop loss below the swing low. So if I did not take the 10-point exit and setting a break even on the rest, I would put a damage control. Let me pray to the gods that I get out of this trade right now without losing money. Otherwise, I have a negative day, and I'll have to make up for that day in the future. So that would be my damage control. But I also missed it as it went below this area because I was looking at the Voyager stock. All right, we're going to let this be for a second. I'm at 500 viewers. Hey, Tone, was good meeting you at the brunch. Come to the Alpha House. Oh, yeah, the Alpha House. So this will be my damage control. Get out of this trade with a little bit of profit. It almost hit it. What was I going to do? I was going to, oh, one more time. Financial Summit, Dominican Republic. Check out this video. It's only 2 minutes. Our little promo of the event with footage from the last event. And we also have a testimonial video. If you want to know what it's about, I mean, just watch these testimonial videos, guys. Trust me, it's an amazing event. It's not looking good. Not looking good. But we stay patient. Keeping an eye on this red zombie apocalypse coming. Well, in Ukraine mostly. You can see how every single day I do this video, like the amount of red is just insane. And this is a huge area, by the way. And it's incredible how fast the amount of red is moving. I really thought that they would try to enclose this. This is somewhat ballsy. Super ballsy of Russia to do, but they're doing it, and it doesn't look like Ukraine can stop them because Ukraine's got forces here and here on both sides. And once this is captured by the red, I mean, Ukraine has to come negotiating table. They have to. They have to. Because I think this whole army is moving here. And it's going to be a world of hurt because right now there's big clashes going on. Anyway, just watch the military summary channel. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It just tells you what's going on the ground. And like I said, after this is over, these guys are in deep shit. These guys are in trouble. Serious trouble. I don't think I'm not sure in my lifetime, I've seen many, I haven't seen too many dumber geopolitical decisions in my lifetime, basically, other than US, going up and shooting up Iraq. That was dumb. Oh, no, the 60 billion in weapons is helping. It is absolutely helping. It is helping Russia demilitarize Europe, because Europe has decided to send all of their weapons to Ukraine, where they will be destroyed by the Russians or captured by the Russians or sold on the black market. And if this keeps going, then all of Europe will be completely demilitarized without a single tank left. And then I'm not sure who exactly they're going to be able to defend if Russia decides to just take it all over. I mean, fine, your decision, but go for it. I mean, one of Russia's objectives was to demilitarize Ukraine, but they actually managed to demilitarize Germany and France. Okay, it wasn't really their plan, but I'm sure they're very happy about it. Would this have happened if Trump was in office? That is a great question. I am leaning that there was maybe a 55 to a 60% chance this could have still happened, but probably not. There was two main reasons why this would not have happened under Trump. And those two reasons do not exist under Biden. So the two reasons why this would have been unlikely to happen under Trump is Trump was significantly more respected by Russia than Biden, like significantly more respected. So Russia might not have done this because Trump might have acted decisively and actually defended Ukraine. He might have. That's reason number one. Reason number two, this might not have happened, is because just like Russia respected Trump, like Putin and Russia respected Trump, Trump respected Putin and Russia. So because Trump respected Putin and Russia, the vice president of the United States under Trump would not have announced 3 days before the invasion that Ukraine is going to be a member of NATO, antagonizing Russia. Also, Zelensky would not have announced the day before the invasion that Ukraine plans to bring back nuclear weapons. Like those two things would not have occurred under Trump. So this antagonism, like days before the invasion, would not have occurred. And I believe they factored in greatly. So because of the mutual respect of Russia for Trump and Trump for Russia, this probably would have been avoided, but I don't really know. But significantly higher chances of this being avoided under Trump. Significantly higher. Now, because of Trump's respect for Russia and Putin and vice versa, Trump was demonized as a Putin stooge, and Trump got a lot of shit from mostly from the Democrats, but from all Americans about being pro-Russia and a Russian shill because of the mutual respect for Russia and Putin. And I believe it was that respect for Russia and Putin that kept Russia from doing this. But when Russia got grossly disrespected by the current administration and the embarrassment that the current administration had just suffered in Afghanistan, Russia decided to show the West and NATO their military superiority by just saying, screw you, stop us. Just my opinion, just my view on it. I personally think that the only reason why Russia is going to stay quiet and not invade these three NATO nations is because they have too much military tied up in Ukraine. If they can get this military out of Ukraine and move that military right here, I actually believe that they're going to take all three of these countries. And I don't think they're scared of NATO at all, just my opinion. I don't think they're scared of NATO. I think they're going to call NATO's bluff. And I don't think NATO is going to go to war with Russia over Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. And by the way, the stupidity of Lithuania is going to get Estonians and Latvians killed also, because Russia cannot only take Lithuania for multiple reasons. One, they don't border Lithuania. So Belarus has to do it, which I don't think they will on their own. And Russia can't leave even Estonia alone. They don't need Estonia. They can march into Lithuania through Latvia. And they can technically only take half of Latvia and not even touch Riga to make their way and make a land bridge into their own country of Kaliningrad. The reason why they would take all three of these immediately and swiftly is because if they leave any piece of land of Estonia, Latvia, or Lithuania without Russian occupation, then the United States and NATO will put their forces there. But if they take all three of these swiftly and quickly, then NATO has to set up shop in Poland and Slovakia, which may let them, and Romania and Bulgaria, which will probably let them, but Hungary and Slovakia will not let them set up shop. And then World War III takes place in Poland and probably Romania, but mostly Poland. Again, that's just my view on the future. If Russia, no, they don't have to react. They don't have to do shit. Tone, if Russia attacks a NATO country, they all have to react. No, they don't. They don't. They don't have to. Why do people think that they have to react? No, they don't. No, they don't. Like right now, if I was Estonia and Latvia, I would get the hell out of NATO as soon as possible. I will get the hell out of NATO as soon as possible. By the way, my dad did his military when he was in the Soviet Union in Kaliningrad. I think like what, probably 60, 70% of all the people that live in Kaliningrad are military. Most Russians do their military right here. No, absolutely not. NATO, no NATO country has to react. It's like, well, who's going to force them? Like people have these black and white concepts. The same people that are saying NATO has to react if Russia invades these countries are the same people that said Russia would never attack Ukraine. Well, guess what? They did. You were wrong. These concepts of never and must are so dangerous. You need to get them the hell out of your brain. I know there are plenty of people that want to go to nuclear war over Lithuania, but there is enough people that don't want to go to war over Lithuania. And there's enough people that are going to say, goodbye, Lithuania. We'll put your flag on our Twitter handles. Good luck. And we have no more weapons to send you, by the way, because all our weapons got destroyed in Ukraine. Why does Kaliningrad belong to Russia? Because Germany didn't want to buy it from Russia. Also because it is Russia's naval base for this entire region that doesn't have to de-ice itself. Like Russia has a port over here as well, but that port has to be de-iced in the winter. So Russia has a problem getting their ships around in the winter if they don't have this area. The question isn't why is this Russia? The better question is why are these three countries independent? Because Russia almost did not let them have independence in 1991 when Russia broke up. So these guys should actually consider themselves lucky that they are nations. And if I was advising the leaders of these countries, I would remind them that they are lucky that they are nations. And if they want to stay independent nations, they want to actually be independent and not piss off these people in the Kremlin before they are once again no longer nations. Right, this used to be German territory. Russia took it after World War II to have their military, their navy base here. And Russia is not a navy power. Russia is a land power, but they have a big navy base here and a big navy base in Crimea, and they're not letting them go. I mean, maybe if there was some notion of world peace, if NATO did not expand east of Germany, Russia wouldn't really care about this navy or this navy. But since NATO kept invading towards the Russian border, Russia said, we're going to double down our navy here and here. Russia ain't never given this up. They were willing to give this up like a few decades ago, but Germany, I don't know, Russia has sold some, I mean, Russia has done terrible deals in the past, right? I mean, they sold Alaska to America. That wasn't exactly smart. They could have really dominated the oil business if Russia never sold Alaska. So Russia's selling off their own land has not been very strategic for them. Tone, Washington's treaty, Article 5, attack against one ally, consider an attack against all allies. That's great. Now, if Russia invades Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania, and Poland tells the US, we don't want the war to be on our land, we are exiting NATO, and we are going to make a peace deal with Russia so that America is not fighting the Russians on Poland land. What is America going to do about Poland? Like, again, this notion that a country has to attack another country if some other country got hit. I mean, just think about it with your friends, right? Just because one of your friends got into a fight or an argument with someone else doesn't mean you have to go and fight their battles. You have the option, you might have promised them that you would, but you don't have to. You don't have to. You can say no. You can always say no. If Russia invades Lithuania and NATO doesn't react, how can other members rely on NATO? They can't. You can't rely on NATO now. This is what Russia is saying. We are not scared of NATO. NATO overplayed their hand. They tried to put too many countries. NATO is a bureaucracy more than it's a military. Like the US military is more interested in making sure their next general is transgender than actually having any military strategy. Like I don't trust NATO. I trust the fact that more Americans have guns in their home than the US military does. So I am very comfortable being in America in case some foreign nation plans to invade because of how armed to the teeth the citizens are. I have no confidence in the US military, especially on the other side of the world. I'm perfectly confident that the US will defend the US. I'm not scared of any nation invading the US. but I have no confidence in NATO going into Russia. You guys crazy? Let me ask you a hypothetical question. Here's how Rome fell. Rome fell when I think it was Valerian I went to, like, either he was in a battle or he went to try and broker peace with the Persians. And the Persian king killed his army, killed his guards, and threw him in prison and turned him into a slave, basically. So what do you think happens if Joe Biden happens to go to Ukraine to try and convince Zelensky to broker peace, and Putin arrests Joe Biden for America's war crimes in the Middle East, puts Biden in a prison cell in the Kremlin in Moscow? What do you think America is going to do? This is how Rome fell. And once that happened to Valerian I, the world knew that Rome did not have the military strength to go and rescue him. And that's how Rome fell. Society pretty much collapsed. Other nations started to break off from Rome. They said Rome can't defend us. They can't even defend their emperor. And it was over. It was over for Rome's dominance. Other tribes, barbarians, started to encroach on Rome's land. It was over. There was no more fear of the Roman army. Yumi says Russia is barely winning a war they were expected to win in a week. CNN told you they were expected to win in a week. Ukraine is the biggest country by landmass in all of Europe, outside of Russia. It depends if you consider Turkey Europe. I think Ukraine is about the same size as Turkey. Do you not see how big this landmass is? And by the way, if Russia would have captured Kiev within the first week and this war would have been over, a few 100,000 Ukrainians would still be alive. And it's up to you whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. You decide. Would I still consider moving to Georgia? Well, it depends. So Georgia is not aggravating Russia right now, which is good. But a lot of the German military, whoever is left, is on the Ukraine border fighting with Ukrainians, and that's probably pissing off Russia. So I would consider moving to Georgia if Georgia, makes some public announcements saying that we're going to be neutral. We're not going to be sending our military to fight Russians. And then I would feel safer in Georgia, because if Georgia keeps doing stupid shit, Russians are going to invade. And I don't want to be in Georgia if Russians invade. So I am very hesitant of going to Georgia, not because I don't want to be in Georgia if Russians invade. But I'm not scared of Russians invading if Georgia isn't doing stupid shit to antagonize Russians to invade. In my opinion, I think Putin wants to end this war as soon as possible. But one of the reasons he wants to end this war as soon as possible, so he can tell these guys that they better get the fuck out of NATO before their fate is similar to this fate. It's probably one of the reasons. So I got two questions. Would I consider moving back to Russia? Well, I'm not considering that yet. I mean, they're under sanctions. I don't think life's all that good there. And it's too cold. I would not. Not at the moment. Why not move to Russia? Well, multiple reasons. The country is under sanctions. The country might be at war with the rest of the world. The country is super cold. I never really wanted to live there in the first place because it's too cold. I always preferred American culture to the a little more to the Russian. Well, it's not even the culture, right? How can I say this? Over the last 10 years, I see America going down the toilet, and Russia has actually been improving over the last decade. No one sees trends. So we'll see what happens in 10 years. I'm not familiar with the gold situation in Uganda. Do you think Russia will win this war? It depends on your definition of win, but they've already won a significant amount, and they're not giving that up. It depends on your definition of win. No one wins in war. People die. There's no such thing as a win. Do I think, the question is, do I think Russia will achieve the objectives they set out to achieve when they invaded Ukraine? And I believe they will achieve 80% of the objectives they set out to achieve. I don't know why Putin is firing his generals. That is a very specific question. For the same reason that people get fired in any job. If they're not good at their job, they get fired. I mean, this isn't the federal government. Like, this isn't the chief of the Uwade police in Texas that got promoted over his incredible, handling of the school shooting, right? This isn't a US government job where the more incompetent you are, the more promotions you get. I don't know why Putin would be firing his generals, but my guess is they're not doing a good job and someone better can take their place. I'm interested in moving to Latin America. My problem is that Marxists keep getting elected down there. Let's go back to the charts. Beautiful. So we completely avoided a terrible situation. I would have either exited this at the top, because I was only looking for a 10-point move, and exited the rest. Right now, I would be leaning bullish here. Bitcoin is still struggling, but let me zoom out. Let me get rid of all these lines. What is this line? Let me zoom out. So we're sitting right at resistance. What do you think the long-term fallout is from Russia, even if they win the war? Again, I don't know what win the war is. The perception and negativity towards Russia will last for years, maybe decades. Decades. It'll last for decades. Maybe less if the U.S. control of woke media starts to end, then it would be less, but probably decades. The relationship between Russians and Ukrainians is probably gonna be a disaster for generations, maybe 40, 50 years, if it ever goes back to normal. That's a big if. Oh yeah, what's going on with gold? Gold's not moving. No one cares about gold, guys. It's like Litecoin. No one cares. So if we can hang here for a couple of days, I think we're going to break out. Remember, I am one of the few people in the world that is actually bullish on the stock market right now. Everyone is convinced that we're in 1929 stock market crash. Absolutely everyone. And I'm one of the few people that thinks we can rally from here in the stock market. You don't want a USSR flag, guys. Every time I see the hammer and sickle flag, it actually sickens me. I'm anti-communism. I'm anti-Marxism. I don't like seeing a USSR flag. It bothers me. I don't have a problem with the Russian flag, the Russian tricolor, but I don't want to see a Soviet era hammer and sickle flag. Like anyone that's like an old school Soviet era flag. I mean, it's not as bad as the Nazi flag, but it's close. I'm really not a fan of that flag. Like, I understand if you're like 80, 90 years old and you know, you defended that country or your parents defended that country. Like, I understand. But if you're a young person, if you're under the age of 50, you should have no business holding up the former Soviet Union USSR flag. Like the flags stand for very different things. The Russian tricolor flag and the former Soviet Union flag, they mean very different things. At least they do to me. Some will disagree. Do you think the Russian government is more effective than the US government? Well, no, it's obviously more effective, right? Like the Chinese government is more effective than the Russian government, and the Russian government is more effective than the US government. The US government can't get anything done. It's more effective. Doesn't mean it does. That doesn't mean that it's better. Certainly more effective. A dictatorship is more effective than a democracy. Though, for the record, I do not consider Russia a dictatorship. But in general, a dictatorship is more effective than a democracy. May not be better for the people, but it's definitely more effective. By the way, not getting anything done by the government is not necessarily a bad thing. A government that can't get anything done could be a good thing as long as leave the people alone. All right, so is Bitcoin rallying? No. Stock market is a little bit. Bitcoin's daily MACD. Yeah, it looks bullish. The CMF looks terrible. The RSI looks okay. But the MACD on a daily is very bullish. But the price action is super weak. Super weak price action. What leading macro indicators you watch to understand whether we are getting into environment where the Fed will consider pivoting? I don't know. I think the Fed just makes their decisions week by week. Is the bottom in for the stock market? I don't know, but I think there's a bounce. Just like Bitcoin, I think there's a bounce. I don't know if the low is in, but I'm buying the bounce. When did the flag of Russia change? It changed in 1991 when the Soviet Union collapsed. When the Soviet Union collapsed, the flag was done. The era of communism ended. What people have to understand is when the Soviet Union collapsed, democracy didn't win over a dictatorship. The capitalism won over communism. And this is the confusion that people make. People always assume that a democracy is capitalism. And they assume that a dictatorship is communism or, well, generally communism, Marxism, fascism, but that's not true. You can have capitalism under a dictatorship, just like you can have communism under a democracy. So the main confusion after Russia collapsed is that democracy won over a dictatorship, when in reality, capitalism won over communism, regardless of the political structure. It's like the UAE, for example, is not a democracy. It's basically a dictatorship. The UAE is a dictatorship, but it's a very capitalist country. That's why everyone wants to live in the UAE. Not everyone, but a lot of people. So there are examples of amazing capitalism within a dictatorship. But there are also examples of ridiculous communism under a democracy. Just look at Canada. and very soon the United States. So it's a trade-off. At what point is your desire for capitalism greater than your desire for a democracy? I will always choose capitalism over the political structure. Now, most capitalism countries have always been democracies, and most communist countries have always been dictatorships. But that's not necessarily true anymore. I would always want to live in a place that has maximum capitalism, regardless of whether it's a democracy or not. And I know it sounds weird, but I really don't care if the country I'm living in is a democracy, as long as it's capitalism. Capitalism is more important. Now, when the Soviet Union fell, it so happens that at the time, capitalism was a democracy and communism was a dictatorship. Today, it's not that simple anymore. All right, guys, I'm going to call it a day. Stream lasted way longer than I planned on it. Oh, Bitcoin is very political. And Bitcoin is as capitalistic as it gets. Yes, there is a big difference between a democracy and a representative republic. We have a representative republic, which is kind of shitty. But again, even in a democracy, even in a full-blown democracy, you can have communism. If everyone's mindset is Marxist teaching, then the democracy will always, a pure democracy will always vote for, we need to share everything and not own anything. Like, again, it's the mindset. Are you capitalistic or are you communistic in your mind? Do you believe in unions or not? If you believe in unions, well, you should know which side of the ledger you're on. Proof of stake is communism. This is the problem. Proof of work is pure capitalism. Proof of stake is socialism. This is why I like proof of work. It's a capitalistic model. If you think that proof of stake is more capitalist, you got your definitions ass backwards. And you don't even know where you went wrong, probably your liberal education, which I had 7 years of in very liberal colleges. It wasn't easy to getting that garbage out of my brain. Russia spent 70 years in communism. They ain't going back. Proof of stake is more money, more reward. Is that not capitalism? No, that's communism. The more you have, the more power you have, the more you have, the more you earn. You don't put anything in. You don't put any. It's the opposite. Proof of stake, proof of work is capitalism because you have to invest and build something to get rewards. In proof of stake, you don't have to build shit. You have to sit on your fat ass and collect more money because you're privileged. That's how socialism works. Yeah, it really is indoctrination. All right, I'm done. Thank you all for watching, guys. And see you all on the next one.